What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Facade. I am your host, Gavin J. Gallagher, and on this podcast I explore the mental and emotional game often playing out subconsciously in your mind and the mind of everyone else in the real estate or property investment market. The key to success in this game is to master your mindset, your behavior, to take control of your thoughts, your emotions, and most importantly, your ego. So here we are on episode 51 of the show. Last week, I was talking with my friend Carol Talon, who knows a thing or two about Irish property, construction and PropTech, something she's been involved with for many years now. This week, it's just me, and it's going to be a bit of a rant, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But before I do, I just want to remind you that I have a YouTube channel now, and I've just uploaded a new video today, and it is called The 5 Reasons Why I Think The Office Is Not Dead Just Yet. So you might just go and check that out. I'm going to put a link in the show notes, and if you would, I'd be really grateful if you could just go check out the video, hit like, and give me a subscribe to the channel. And it really helps to get my content out there, which ultimately is why I'm going to do it. I want to try and get out to the sort of largest possible audience and try and help people navigate this industry we are all passionate about. So let's get into the rant. What's the rant all about? Well, this week I am talking about the psychological tricks that marketing and salespeople can use to manipulate you into buying stuff that perhaps you do not need. So first, let's go back a few steps. Why am I talking about this? This week, I attended 2 online conferences. Both of them were 2-day conferences, or summits as they like to call them. And I have to say, one was brilliant. I thought it was absolutely amazing, like world-class event. The other one was not so much. And in fact, I'd go so far as to say some of the speakers were actually shameful. And that's what really got me going. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So first of all, I am not going to name names because it's not my place to badmouth or single out anyone, but I just want to help you identify and strengthen your sort of awareness and your consciousness around this, because these are traps that people fall into, particularly if you're young and you're starting out in this industry. I just wanted you to be careful, because there's a ton of guys out there who are, they may not consider themselves scammers, but you know, that is kind of what they are to some degree. And in both of the cases, of both summits that I attended, multiple expert speakers were covering a range of topics. And the topics ranged from investing in property, investing in the stock market, to building an online business. And then there was a couple of motivational speakers who were really excellent. And a friend of mine was actually one of the motivational speakers, which got me kind of interested in the first place. And when it came to the guys talking about investing in property and the stock market, it seems to me that they always follow this kind of predictable path where they end up selling you a course or a program at the end of it. And I'm going to point out the kind of the tricks. Now, I don't want to knock this online selling of online programs and courses. If somebody is a mentor or a coach, and if they're good at their job, then, I'm not going to knock that. I think that's probably a great investment for you to make. And in fact, back in episode 42 of this podcast, I devoted the entire episode to the importance of having a mentor or somebody in your corner. And so I'm certainly not going to knock it. And in fact, who am I to talk? I might myself put out a course or a program at some point in the future. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But what I do object to are these psychological tricks and techniques that are used to manipulate you into buying, and in particular when there's these high pressure over-promising going on. And I heard some really bad ones just at this one of these summits, and I mean, it was so blatant and obvious. I was cringing, and I was actually kind of getting angry, because I was thinking there's going to be a load of people who fall for this, and they're going to be scammed out of a couple of grand. And at the end of the day, they're not going to be any further along in their journey other than to know not to buy these courses in the future. Now, they may be good at what they do, but if they are good at what they do, why are they over-promising? Why are they using these kind of techniques? You don't need to make an unrealistic promise. And as I said, full transparency, it is my intention to put out a couple of programs, but I will not resort to using these techniques to sell them, because I want to be able to sleep at night, first of all. And if I ask you to part with money to buy something from me, I'm going to be damn sure I underpromise and massively over-deliver. So anyway, let's get into those techniques. that are being used. First of all, number one, I'm going to call priming the audience. And what this is, the audience of the potential customer. These guys are selling online and they do not have the benefit of knowing you or having built a rapport with you. Now, that's really important because typically you will buy from people that you know, like, and trust. And so when a person is selling to a stranger, they have to find a way to kind of bypass the fact that you don't know this person, you don't necessarily like this person, and you have no reason to trust them yet. And so there's all these kind of hurdles to the sale that are in the way because of that. And you will find that if you know, like, and trust somebody, there's almost no barriers to the sale. You'll be happy to buy from the person because you trust them. You know that they have their best interests for you, and so it's not such a difficult thing to part with money because you know you're going to get value. But with somebody you don't know, it's a different story. So these guys have to use these techniques to try to break down those hurdles. For example, when you're talking to these guys, usually it's on a big Zoom call. Now, the Zoom calls that I was on for both of these conferences, there was over 200-300 people in both of them. So when selling to a stranger, you have to short circuit that know, like, and trust process. And the only way to do that is to get everyone to engage positively in the chat. And by that, I mean a lot of these calls on Zoom, they have a chat feature, and you'd have people writing in comments left, right, and center and all this kind of stuff. But what really breaks down the barrier and kind of creates this kind of feeling of affirmation is that they start asking these questions that everyone is going to answer yes to. And so the guy will kind of say, all right, guys, who wants to make some money today? Write in the chat if you do. And of course, everyone's going to start putting in, yes, I want to make money and all this. And, if you'd like to master a skill that brings in tons of money passively, type yes in the chat, let me know. And of course, there's loads of people that are going to go and get all excited and start putting, yes, teach me how to do this. Let's go. That's the kind of thing. Now, that is all priming. And the two things that is doing is, first of all, the yes, you're seeing yes popping up in the chat, and you're kind of saying, oh, wow, everyone else is in agreement here. You're feeling like, you're saying yes to this question, and you're feeling yes to that question, and it's priming you for yes to the offer that you'll be made later. And this is part of the technique. It's basically, if you get somebody to agree with you all the time, then the final question that they ask you, would you like to buy, that's going to be easier to say yes to as well. Now, the other thing that it's actually doing is you are seeing all of these comments in the chat, and it's starting to make you believe that, whoa, there's actually loads of people who are going to be buying this. And so that is social proof. And by that, I mean, social proof is super important. If you think you're the only one buying, you're going to be very, very reluctant to kind of press the button and sort of go ahead. But if you're seeing tons and tons of people saying, yes, I want in, and all this kind of stuff, it primes you to be one of those people. You don't want to be left out. And so you're going to want to go and invest as well. And you basically feel like, oh, it must be a good thing if everyone's agreeing with this. And so again, knocking down the barrier to the sale. So that's priming. Next, I'm going to get into the second one. And the second one is a combination of building authority and connecting with the audience. Now, building authority or niche authority, that is where you basically outline all of your accomplishments and how successful you've been. And this is all done to impress you and to kind of show, look at my success, look at my wealth, look how well I've done, look at the stuff that I own and the things that I have. And it's very important because it establishes that this person is successful and why they may be a very worthy teacher or a mentor for you to learn from. But it doesn't connect you with them yet because you see this person as kind of somebody who is above you or further along than on this kind of journey of success than you are. And so you're not quite relating to them yet. So what they do in order to create that connection is they'll go back into their backstory, and that makes them much more relatable. And what they'll often do is tell you things like, oh, you want to see, when I started out, I grew up, in poverty. I didn't have a clue how to start my journey into real estate. I didn't have a clue where I was going to begin to start investing in the stock market. I was so broke, I couldn't afford this, that, and the other. I was really struggling and I wanted to get my family out of this situation. Like all of these statements, and they may be true, but what they are doing is they're effectively putting your words into his or her mouth. And by expressing those emotions that you may be currently feeling, it makes a really strong connection between you and the person on the stage or the speaker or whoever. And you feel connected. And that is, again, it's a psychological trick. It makes you feel connected. It makes you feel like I can trust this guy, this or this lady, whoever it might be. These people are selling something, but you feel now that they've got, they've been in your shoes and they've been through the journey that you are going to be embarking on. And so therefore, they're a good person to learn from. And it is, by the way, super effective as a technique. The third thing is they're going to give you some value. And that is an important part of it, obviously. And so, usually when 1/3 or 1/2 of the presentation is going to be given over to some interesting techniques, some interesting strategies, advice, anything that you're going to find helpful and really useful. And I mean, this is good. Usually these are very, very effective and very, very good strategies. And when you hear them and you hear how effective they are, you're going to go, oh, wow, I really want to learn how to do that. And so he's just given away some of these great ideas and these great strategies. And then what they do is they say, now that is just one strategy, or that's just the first 5 tips that I have, but I have dozens more of these to give you guys. And, when you buy the program, you're going to get 12 of these, or you're going to get 25 of these, or whatever it is. And that is obviously part of the whole thing. It's showing you just some of the value and letting you know that there's an awful lot more where that's come from. Number 4 comes the testimonials. And again, this is social proof. And social proof is really important psychologically. People look around them and they look for proof that they're not alone in this. And so when you see customer testimonials, and a lot of the time they'll put slides up on a screen or whatever, and it'll be a video testimonial, and it'll be somebody like you who started out, who bought the course, and has just, had these great results, and you kind of go, ooh, that could be me. And I got to tell you, I've actually seen, now a lot of these testimonials are genuine, and that's fine, but I actually know a guy, or I knew a guy, Scandinavian guy, who was in the mail order selling business, and he went and created these online products that would sell like hotcakes. And he was telling me, he used to joke about the fact that when he was in this business, he used to cut faces of models and different people out of magazines and literally put them in and completely make the testimonial up out of thin air, like that, oh, this product has really, changed my life, has done this, has done that, like completely out of thin air, no truth in it whatsoever. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that that's what people are doing nowadays, because obviously the internet is the internet and we can find out if someone is a scammer pretty quickly. But these techniques, putting up the testimonials, is part of that social proof. And there's plenty of scammers out there who will, fake it. But even the ones that are completely genuine, you'll almost always see testimonials in there. And it's always going to be something like, I started this program, I didn't have a penny to my name, or I only had like 3,000. And in the last 12 months, I've made 87,000 or whatever it is. It's going to be some huge jump that makes the value of the course seem like, whoa, if I pay, 1,000 for this and I can make 90,000, well then, geez, it's well worth it, isn't it? And that is the social proof that they know will knock those hurdles down to the sale. Number 5, all through the presentation, you're going to see tons of proof from this person, usually photographs or video or whatever, that this person is successful. And the stuff that I saw made me cringe. It was like photographs of the person sort of in a first class, airline seat holding up champagne. And the next one, he's in a hotel suite, holding up a glass of champagne. And the next one, he's, on his beautiful island with his wife. And the next one, he's getting out of a fancy car. And it was all priming. It was all there trying to sort of say, I started out broke. Now look at the luxurious life I'm living. It's very motivational, it's very inspiring, and it is designed to make you buy. And that is the reason why it's there. And look, I'm not going to pretend like you guys don't already know a lot of this stuff, but when I saw it being used so, blatantly last week, I was just like, I have to go and talk about this on the podcast. So the final, or is it the final? Number 6 is we're going to get into the offer, and that is where they present the core product. Now, normally the way it's done is that they're going to discount their price. And so the way it almost always starts is like, okay, so to buy this course, you're going to get this, and you're going to get this, and you're going to get the 12 strategies, and you're going to get, so they'll list everything again, they'll summarize it all. So you're kind of primed again. And then they're going to say, normally I sell this for, and that's when you get dropped the first price. And the price will be above what you're prepared to spend. It'll be 4,500, or it'll be 2,997, or it'll be whatever it will be. It will be a high price tag. And he said, but then what he'll say next will be something along the line of, but because you're in this conference today, or because you're part of this summit, and because my friend has organized this summit, he's asked me to do a special deal for his attendees. So guys, the best I can do, and I'm really going to struggle to kind of drop this price down, but I'm going to drop it down to 997 or 897 or whatever it's going to be. And so it's going to be a big drop, like 50, 60, 70% off, whatever it is. And after that, which makes you kind of think, ooh, okay, that's more affordable. I kind of like that price. Then you're going to get the bonus offer. And that is where, okay, guys, so on top of the 997, I'm going to throw in my course on whatever it is, which normally sells for the same price of 2,997, but I'm going to throw it in free. It's a bonus edition. And then in addition to that, I'm going to give you 2 tickets to attend one of my training seminars. They normally charge, go for 500 or whatever it is. I'm going to throw in 2 of those tickets for you guys. And then finally, and this is a really interesting one that I sort of spotted, is I'm going to give you a free mentoring call with me personally. Now, this is where they start to introduce scarcity and urgency. And what he would do in this particular case was say how much he normally charges for personal mentoring. And he would say that, look, a phone call with me, 1-to-1 for an hour, I normally charge 5,000 for that. But what I'm prepared to do is I'm prepared to give you a free mentoring call as part of today's offer. But, and this is where the big but comes in, it's going to only be available for the first 20 buyers. And so let's recap. It was 2,997 plus the other product, 2,997 plus the free tickets, plus the other course, plus the free mentoring call. All of a sudden, the total value of this package is about 10,000 or above. And now you can get it for 1,000. But the critical thing is that it is only available for the first 20 people who step up. And that is where the scarcity is introduced. And scarcity is absolutely essential in this selling because it makes you decide right there on the spot that you have to buy. Any delay at all is going to make you lose this potential offer. And that is where when people hesitate, their better judgment comes into, and you'll sort of think, hold on a second, can I afford like 997? Do I really want this? Do I need to check this guy out more? All of that is eliminated by the scarcity offer. And so you guys will suddenly find that 20 people, the first 20 people, here's the link, and he'll put the link into the chat or wherever it is. And suddenly everyone is clicking on that link and they're all going in to try to buy. Now, what happens? 40, 50, 60 people go and buy. None of us know how many people clicked on it or how many people bought it. A lot of the time, the scarcity is fabricated and it's not genuine. But in the case of where you can actually see people coming back saying, I've just bought and all that, what they normally do is say, geez, wow, there's been a massive, demand here. I didn't expect this. Okay, I'm going to increase that to the first 30 or the first 40 or whatever it is. And that way they get the people that paid the money. There's no kind of reversal of your refund of your money or anything like that. And that is it. Now, everyone piles in. Another variation of that is the kind of the urgency where they say that, you know, there will be this offer will be closing at, you know, 6 p.m. this evening or whatever, and then the price is going to go back to the original price. And then they'll say something like, you can go and check on my website and see that it's actually, that is the price that it costs. And sure enough, when you go onto their website, you'll see that it is 3,000 for this core product, and it is normally 3,000. So this might be the genuine, you know, it might look like he genuinely is reducing all the prices, but the reality is there's probably very few sales throughout the year at that full price. There might be the odd click here and there, but in these conferences, they get a frenzy to got 200 people watching, and there will be a frenzy, and you might have 50 people purchasing right there, right then, and 50 people purchasing at 1,000 in one go, 50,000 for the conference. It's a lot better than, you know, the odd 3,000 every now and then here and there. And so the guy will have cleaned up, like in the space of that, you know, half an hour talk he gave or 1 hour talk he gave. So look, that's it. Now, I'm not going to suggest that this process is evil. I mean, it's the way it's done. It's the methodology that's used for online sales. And it's where I get pissed is the over-promising that goes on. And this particular chap that I was listening to was really, you know, making my blood boil, because he was making these promises that were really unrealistic and pretty reckless. And there was quite, you know, things like, guys, you are going to be millionaires. You are going to make so much money on this course. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. And it was really, I thought it was shameful. Just now, there was all, you know, he was making these promises like, you know, within 12 months, you're going to be driving great cars and this and that. And there was a lot of people falling for it, because I could see the comments in the chat that I've just bought this and that and the other. And there was actually one person in the chat who wrote that I'm only 17 years of age. Is this course suitable for me? And the guy's response was, absolutely, it's suitable for you, but I'm going to need your parent or guardian's permission. And of course, that's because it is not a legal contract if somebody below 17 has clicked on the buy button or whatever. So guys, I just want you all to tread carefully out there. Again, I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like, I do actually plan to create some kind of a product myself at some stage in the future, but mine, it's going to be a product that I am totally and utterly proud of, that I am absolutely clear that you are getting so much value for money from anything that you've bought from me, that the only comments that are going to be made are going to be ones that are very, very positive, and there will be a guarantee. You know, if you're not happy with it, you know, no quibble guarantee, you get your money back. You don't always get that with some of these guys. They'll say that there's a guarantee, but a lot of the time it'll be provided you have done this and done that, and you've participated and you've been part of the course for the entire thing, and you haven't missed a single episode or whatever it is. These are just the tricks that are used. So guys, I hope you found that useful. It has been something of a short episode, and I'm hoping to get some really interesting guests on next week. But for now, that is the end of episode number 51 of Behind the Facade. Thank you so much for listening. As always, my number one ask is to leave a review or simply share the episode with someone you think would benefit from it. In the show notes, you'll find links to various things discussed today, primarily my new video and my YouTube channel. But if you have any questions or topics you would like me to cover in future episodes, please connect with me on the Facebook group Behind the Facade Community. Alternatively, reach out, find me on social media, the handle Gavin J. Gallagher for everything, and that includes YouTube and LinkedIn. And if you want to send me a LinkedIn message, I just got a nice one from a couple of listeners this week. And guys, it really makes my day when I get a nice comment from you guys, or a message just saying that you're enjoying the podcast. It really, really sort of lights up my day. And I'm really interested to hear where you're listening in from. Somebody told me that they're in Australia, and another person said that they're in Singapore. It's just fascinating for me that my recording here in Dublin is being heard at various places around the world. So guys, that's it. As always, I've got my events and various things on my website, which you'll find at gavinjgallagher.com/go. Until next week, catch you all soon.